Multiculturalism by Agni Cristal Guzman. In this presentation, we will be comparing 4 different articles that talk about the difference and the opinions of different authors in multiculturalism. But first, let's talk about the definition of this term. According to The Beauty of Diversity and the Problem of Multiculturalism by Paul Plasser, multiculturalism is an ideology that celebrates the diversity of cultures, especially traditionally oppressed groups, and emphasizes their contributions to society. This author, however, also views multiculturalism as reductionistic and relativistic. His problem with multiculturalism is that people, rather than placing God at the center, places human beings at the center. But according to multiculturalism in the classroom, he says that we must help our students learn how to be discerning Christians who are constantly judging their own society and other societies and people from a loving biblical perspective. Christian educators, he mentions, from elementary teachers to college professors, need to develop a Christian view of diversity with humility, patience, and love. In the other article, The Trouble with Multiculturalism by Clifford May, he describes multiculturalism as an ideology with far-reaching and damaging consequences. This author is clearly opposed to the idea of multiculturalism. He believes that by emphasizing collective identities and group rights and by pushing for equality of results rather than equality of opportunity, multiculturalism undermines individual freedom and devalues the Western cultures that have nurtured and defended it. He also mentions that a big trap of multiculturalism is simply this: if all cultures are equal, why defend your own? The culture that replaces it will be just as good, won't it? On the other hand, Banks and Banks encourages you to use multiculturalism and acknowledge multiculturalism in the classroom. Banks and Banks also talks about equity in the classroom. It mentions how important it is to involve multiculturalism in our hidden curriculum for the classroom, but it also says that teachers who try to implement equity without attending to factors such as the physical arrangement of space in the classroom and the control inherent in certain types of physical conditions will rarely experience success. Banks and Banks mentions that the way to be successful in implementing multiculturalism in your classroom is by understanding the histories, moral characteristics, and intergroup differences of the major racial and ethnic groups. In Salter's article, it says that it is an excellent and most desirable idea to make Americans culturally sensitive, to make them multicultural, as it were, that is to say, teach them that there exist other cultures besides the American culture. So, Salter defines multiculturalism as an awareness that other cultures do exist, have a right to exist, and do not have to conform to ours to be acceptable. I believe that every article mentioned before has its point. In the first article, written by Plasser, I agree that we have to be very careful in multiculturalism and the problem of placing human beings at the center and not God. And in this article, I also agree with the fact that we have to judge society from a loving and biblical perspective. Because in the Bible, we can see how Jesus loved each and every person, regardless of their gender, ethnicity, or wealth, because He created them. In The Trouble with Multiculturalism by Clifford May, I also agree with the author in the fact that we have to be very careful about abusing of the idea of multiculturalism.